Hi, I'm Cheryl Duffy. I'm the owner of the Divorce Centre, and I help people who are impacted by separation and divorce. And I have someone very special here with me today who I'm going to talk to, who has embarked on being a divorce fitness coach and really highlights where physical fitness can help with your mental strain that you're having going through a divorce situation. So I've got Kristyan Marin here from Marin HQ. So welcome, Kristyan. So I'll let you talk about what you do. So I want to just ask you, what inspired you to become a divorce fitness coach and create that Marin HQ online fitness coaching business so that you're able to help divorced men through their challenges in divorce?
Well, thank you for having me, Cheryl. So yes, so what inspired me to create this program is I went through my own divorce, and during that time, I've always been in the fitness industry as a personal trainer, and during that hard moment in my life, I used health and fitness as my vehicle to get through this tough process. So even though my world was falling apart around me, I still had that sense of control that I had, and that was through just focusing on what I can control, and that's my own health and fitness. Because it's so easy to just lose track of that when you're going through that painful process. And so when I came to a point in my career, I just thought, how can I tie in that painful experience with the health and fitness industry and work particularly with men who are going through that process themselves, whether they're going through it currently, have been through it, or even thinking about going through it. I just wanted them to find me and basically know that they're not alone in this process.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned control. When we're going through separation and divorce, that's one thing we feel we've lost is control of what's happening to us, as opposed to being empowered through our separation and divorce. Now, we can be looking at the mental and emotional support that's required, but that is also improved when you have a physical fitness regime happening. And that's where they can reach out to you to help have that sort of resilience and confidence boosted, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. Because one thing that I found kind of frustrating is, and also I'm sure a lot of other men and also women who going through that process is you feel alone, you feel misunderstood. Everyone around you who loves you, like your family, friends, and everything, like bless their soul, but they just want to fix things for you. And sometimes the advice coming from your friends who are married is probably not the current thing you kind of want. And you just want someone just to sit there with you and just listen and not really want to fix anything. And so one thing, again, coming back to it, that control aspect is, as a man, you're right. Like, you feel like you've lost everything. You've got no control. If people have kids like I did, I couldn't see my kids whenever I wanted to anymore. Everything I've built as a man, like moving house, building a business, marriage, having kids, all of that was just gone. Like, that identity was like gone. And so I had to kind of recreate a new identity. And in that painful process, you need clarity, and clarity is not there. So so by utilizing health and fitness, that was my base. That was my foundation of finding clarity, where doing something challenging, doing something difficult, waking up before work, then training, then going to work, then after work, going for a walk. It started to, what something was hard and difficult started to become sort of like meditation. It quiet that chaos, like that chaos in your mind, and then you had that little bit of clarity to then start deciding, okay, how am I gonna get myself out of this hole that that I'm currently in.
And obviously, doing the physical work helps you sort of get rid of some of that pent up adrenaline as well, where you're so stressed and anxious about what you're going through. It's a release because you can then be feeling as though you're you're spent, so you bring about some calmness, don't you, when you're doing some exercise, as opposed to being stressed and lashing out and sort of taking it out on others. You can vent and get some of that adrenaline, out in the exercise, whether that's running, whether that's doing weights, whether that's doing kickboxing or anything. It could be any type of exercise, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like during that painful process, I kind of went into a dark hole where I had to take up marijuana while smoking that just to be able to go to bed, just to not think of these thoughts, knowing that, man, when am I gonna see my kids again, right? And then all that emotion, that pent up emotion, definitely translates to how you behave with people, how you behave at work.
Yeah.
And then I obviously lost my business as well. So all of that shame, that embarrassment, like everything I built up as a man was just gone from under my feet. So to deal with that and face that every day, knowing that that that's me now, like I need to restart again. That was really hard. So it's so easy to go into substance abuse. It's so easy to sit at home and eat away because no one's there anymore. And why should you try? All these thoughts start coming through your head. But
A lot of self-worth as well during
yeah,
that process. So you
exactly.
start to question your own identity of, well, who am I? Am I still lovable? Was I left or for because of me or was it because of them? So you start to really self-doubt and wonder, who you are as a person and what that your worth is as a person. So I know that I self-sabotage. I was sat on the couch eating chocolate to comfort eat, but as you get bigger and bigger, that just exacerbates your depression and your anxiety because you don't like who you're seeing in the mirror.
Mm.
So that's where having the fitness coach through divorce really can help you sort of stay on top of being empowered through the challenges that you're going ahead. That strength, stamina, and that mental clarity, as you mentioned, to be able to be rational when you're talking through and negotiating.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I thought that no one understood me, at least as a divorce fitness coach, I could have some sort of understanding and credibility with these people, like with the divorced men. So at least they know that, hey, I'm talking to someone who's been through a divorce, who feels the same pain I felt, who's been through what I've been through. So it's not just like another personal trainer, or it's not
Yes.
just another online fitness coach who has probably never been through that, who probably doesn't have kids, who probably hasn't lost a business and felt the pain of that financial loss. And so it's someone that they could relate to. Because, yeah, as a fitness coach and a personal trainer, you can easily get lost with the masses. So then I had to find out how can I niche down where I do feel like I have credibility and I don't feel like an imposter. And that's why I chose to work with divorced men.
Mm. So tell us a bit about what you offer the
Mm.
divorced men. What's your coaching program about?
Well, I pretty much put everything that I've done that worked for me into a component like an online course, and then also using the vehicle of health and fitness to drive all of that. So it's a combination of mindset, health, fitness, and nutrition.
Right.
And then step by step, we uncover those in 6 phases in my course, and the whole process and program goes for 6 months.
Okay. And tell us a bit about a story of the transformation that you've seen your clients go through.
Yeah, well, as of now, I have two current clients who one is recently is going through that painful process now, like in the last couple of months, and then another one who's been through it 6 months ago. So different stages, but the process is the same. It's very similar, and once we've had those conversations, it all has to start from going within. Because like I tell them, I could give you the best training plan, I could give you the best nutrition plan. But if you are not at home here and the mind and the body is not connected, and you don't have your values aligning with why you want to train, why you want to look a certain way, then you're not going to get a result or it won't last long. And then you may revert back. So I always kick everything off, which I did myself, is with a logical self-reflection, because it's very easy to get lost in emotions. But just asking you the questions of where you at now, what are you unhappy about, layer them out and really put them on paper. So whether you need to write it down and keep it old school, or whether you need to write it down, there's no real necessary process, just as long as you do it and not pay that process off. Because if you pay it off and you're like us typical men do at times, and I know I've done it myself, it's very easy to just bury your head in the sand and not deal with all of that. But then sooner or later it'll come and bite you in the bum. So that's why, yeah, self-reflection is number one. We need to uncover where we're at, what we're unhappy about, and where we want to be before we even talk about training and nutrition and everything else.
Yeah. And it's shifting that mindset, isn't it, from the past to the future. So
Correct.
they keep looking over their shoulder of what went on, all the hurt and the pain. It's about trying to shift them to be looking at, okay, well, this is where you are now. What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? You're not going to get there by looking over your shoulder. You can only get there by looking forwards and doing the hard work and being able to achieve it whilst going through the process of divorce and giving you that strength to get through.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like when I heard of like a few people I've watched on YouTube as well during my recovery, is like that feeling of depression. It's usually aligned. It's usually a misalignment of how your expectations to how your life is currently. And that misalignment is where it gets us depressed and where we feel like we need to throw a mask on when we go to work to pretend everything is okay. But then we go back home and we face the truth, looking
Yeah,
in the mirror, looking at our body, looking at our life and what's happening. And so as soon as we can reflect on that and then figure out and get some clarity on where we want to be and what that new identity sort of looks like, then we could start aligning that whole process and kind of feel happier with where we're heading towards
yeah,
and have a new mission.
yeah, definitely. So what would you recommend for people who some people might say, oh, that's the last thing I can do. I can't get myself up off the couch. I'm sitting there eating chocolate and sort of trying to forget about my current situation when you really want them to be present in the current situation, in the present, to be able to enact this program, to be able to get to a healthier version of themselves so that they're not only mentally but physically fitter and more capable of making those rational decisions when they're going through negotiation. Because if they keep self-sabotaging, and self-sabotaging can be turning to the drink, drugs, gambling, the chocolate, like myself.
Mhm.
So when you're feeling that you're just self-soothing and trying to escape your emotions, it's very difficult for you then to be making those rational decisions. So what would you be recommending to people who are sitting on the couch saying, oh yeah, I might do that one day?
Definitely. Step one is you need to forgive yourself. So whatever you're blaming yourself about, whatever words you keep telling yourself or labeling yourself with, is you need to have that conversation with yourself and really forgive yourself for what's happened. Right? And then the next thing is, if you're gonna self-loathe and you're gonna drink or you're gonna eat and comfort eat and all of that, that's fine. But at the same time, meet yourself halfway and still do some sort of activity. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could just be with a walk. Just commit yourself to one walk a day where you go around the block. Then the next day, try that extra block and just do that. And then the following week, go that little bit extra. And then sooner or later, by you seeing that you're doing better, your self-loathing with whatever it is, substance abuse or emotional eating, will start to subside. And because that's what happened with me. I was smoking every single day, chronically, and I'm a health and fitness professional by trade. So it didn't align with what I thought I was compared to what my actions were. But the more because then I committed to a challenge, a physical challenge. I joined like an event, which I've always wanted to do in my life. And now being divorced and not having my kids around, not having the business over my head or my ex-wife around, I now had all this time. And I thought, okay, well, let me do something I've always wanted to do. but I didn't have the time before. And so I committed to a mixed martial arts challenge, right? And then by committing to that challenge, I started to go there daily, but it didn't start off like that. I started to go 1 day a week, then that turned into two, then that turned into three. And then all of a sudden, without even thinking, my smoking was decreasing. I didn't go to that.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, eventually, I just stopped with what I was self-loathing with and started to do more, which brought me happiness and started to align my mind with with my actions.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's great. It's good to be able to do that shift, isn't it? Of shifting from feeling so bad about yourself to having that purpose of what you want to create as the new version, your best self, basically going forward. Because obviously, when we're going through separation, we don't feel good about ourselves. Our self-worth, self-esteem, and our self-confidence is shattered, particularly when we feel our world has fallen apart. So it's really about trying to look at how we can go from where we are, as you say, to where we want to be, and doing that in baby steps.
Exactly right. And that's all it takes. It's like, even in the, no matter who you are, like even if you're not divorced and you're going through something in life, right? Whatever that is, utilizing health and fitness as your vehicle would 9 times out of 10 get you out of that, right? And then also you need your support network. And it could be just one person who you trust, that you could just be yourself with and not feel shy or shameful about what you're going through, and just be able to communicate. And the other thing I'll mention as well, Cheryl, which really helped me, which I've never done before until I got divorced, is journaling. And we hear about it all the time, but how many of us do it? Probably not so much, and especially as men as well, we probably don't do it enough. But that's one thing that, if you have no one to talk to or you're not quite ready yet, just start talking with yourself. Put it on paper. Start somewhere. It's better than nothing and being left stuck with you, with those thoughts in your head.
Yeah, I find it's really important as well, not only to pour the grief onto the paper, but also to be every day sort of identifying, well, what are three positive things that happened to me today? Because I think we can be very, very negative when we're going through a traumatic event, feeling that life is hopeless and, nothing's going to work, everything's going to just turn to shit. So it's basically people thinking about, well, what are the key things that happened today where I can find three good things that happened, so you can try to shift your negative mindset to a positive one. And it's the same as when you were talking about doing the physical fitness and how you see yourself transforming. I think you get a different approach from others in the fact that if you're very looking very upset, very haggard, very drawn, very, not your best self, people tend to be sort of giving you the sympathy and the comfort. But how better would it be to do your fitness program and to be see that you're transforming in your physical realm and also in your mental state, and people then complimenting you, oh, you look fantastic, you're starting to move forward in life, you're starting to take the reins in your own hands and be the master of your life, of where you're wanting to go. So it is a real big shift of how people respond to you as well, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. It's like I had this conversation with a client of mine the other day. It's like he's going through a divorce, right? And he's a businessman, and he had a bit of a down moment, and the tracking kind of fell underway, and the journaling as well. And then I asked him, I'm like, hey, listen, where are you most strongest at? Where are you most confident at? And he's like, well, in my business, in the boardroom, in a meeting, in front of people, talking about that's where he feels strong and confident. And I'm like, do you ever go a day without tracking your finances? And he's like, oh, no way, I need to all the time. And I'm like, well, why can't it be for your fitness as well? Why can't it be for your journaling? Because that's for you,
Yes,
not
you're a
just
priority in life.
yeah, not just for your business. And then I talk the same analogy when it comes to calories and nutrition. Like it's like people budget money each week, each month, same as your calories. If you just look at it as a budget for the day, and then when the weekend comes, because you budget it right, then on the Saturday or Sunday when you go out and socialize, you don't have to even think about it because you've budgeted accordingly. And therefore you're creating positive, like a positive relationship with food. You're creating a positive relationship with yourself. And that then bleeds into all other areas of your life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so that's even with you looking at down the track, being able to then start dating again. So
Exactly.
you're creating the best version of yourself, preparing yourself for your future. So,
Yeah.
and
And then
not that you
for,
have to have a relationship, but it's, something that people who self-sabotage, like myself, I did it for 6 years self-sabotaging. So then I had to spend another 2 years to get myself back to being my best version of myself before I could then start, going out and meeting people and feeling confident to do that. Because when we're not happy about what we see in the mirror, we're not happy about engaging with other people to strike up relationships. So it takes that effort to try to think that you are worth it and that you are a priority in your life to be able to do the best you can for yourself to rebuild your life.
exactly. And rebuilding, like you said, your life, it needs to start with you. You cannot depend on others to build that life for you. And I found that firsthand experience is getting to a position where I thought I was ready to start dating, but really deep down I knew I wasn't. And like attracts like. So if you are not in a position where you're fully confident and fully happy with who you are, what you've done, and you have actual hard evidence that you've done the work, then that confidence that at that time I thought I had, and I wasn't quite ready, and I attracted the wrong potential person into my life, which kind of made me go backwards. But then again, you like it's okay to make these mistakes, but then you need to go back and just believe in the process and then really work on yourself. Because once you start working on yourself and start to build yourself to that new identity you're looking for, you start to attract those right people into your life.
Yes,
Because success and knowing that someone's come out from a dark spot by themselves and really worked really hard to get there, like that's an attractive trait in itself.
yes.
And it's someone that is out there somewhere, but you're not going to meet those people until you get yourself out of there first.
Yeah, if you have a positive energy, if you have been doing work on yourself and you're not feeling as though you're broken anymore, you then attract people who are in the same phase. So if you're all broken and you're going out there trying to meet new people, a lot of times you just meet other broken people. And then that brings a lot of baggage into your relationship, and therefore it doesn't have a high chance of survival. So
Yeah.
becoming your best self not only is good for you, but it's good for your future relationships as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like someone told me before. It's like once you become that someone who got yourself out of that gutter and out of that pain, you become intimidating to people who are in that pain and who are not quite ready and who have those triggers which will trigger you. You become intimidating to those people and you don't attract those people into your life. And that stuck with me. So I just and then I just started to just focus on me, not try to be codependent or think that, oh, I need to find someone to help me get there. No, because that's not fair on that person as well.
Yeah, definitely. So how do people find you, Kristyan?
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, Marin HQ. You can also find me on Instagram. My name is at Divorced Fitness Coach.
Yep.
And yeah, just feel free to go through all my content on there. My account's not private, so feel free to go on there, go through all my content, build some trust first. You'll probably find a bit of humor through it as well. And yeah, and then if you guys are keen to communicate, I have my email, mobile number, and my socials to get in touch with me.
Okay, sounds great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Kristyan. I think it's a great opportunity for you to help divorced men or men that have been through divorce be able to rebuild their life and become the best version of themselves. So it's fabulous. So well
My
done.
pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you so much, Cheryl, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
That's okay. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Kristyan.
No worries.
Bye.
Ciao.